actually become things? Well, I guess you hear it all the time. They say, be careful what you think about, be careful what you wish for. Your thoughts control your reality. Well, how does this actually work? I guess it's one thing that all common leaders agree upon around the world. They all say, we become what we think about, regardless of their position or what their political views are or what they believe in or what religion they are. I guess the one common thing, based upon pretty much everyone that's ever existed in time, they always say we become what we think about. What does this actually mean? How does this work? Well, this is something like, for myself, I've always thought this was complete rubbish. I've tried it and I've tried it in the past so many times. I guess if you want to call it like manifesting or whatever, it's like you think about something, you think about it, and then it never happens, it never comes to fruition, and you just totally write this thing off and you think this is like complete crap. This is never going to work. Like how is this even physically possible? I can only use my senses to see if something's real. Like, you look, hear, taste, touch, smell. I can pick something up. Okay, it's physically real. I can hold it within my hands or I can smell it. I know it exists. But when people say thoughts become things, how does that even work in this physical reality? And I guess, I'll go back and I guess tell you my example, my story, how this came about for me. Like I was saying, I would go over this so many times and I'd think about certain things that I wanted to happen, and I'd think and think and think, and eventually like nothing would happen, nothing would come about it. And then I thought maybe I'm approaching this wrong, I'm doing it wrong, whatever. Until I got to the point where I actually started to do this without even, I guess, like caring anymore. I didn't even like give it any thought to think this is going to work, this is not going to work. I just completely let go and let be what was going to be, and just thought of what's going to happen is always going to happen, and you can't change that. And when I started to approach it with that attitude, that mindset, I still kept like my attention in the front of my mind of what I wanted to happen. And my example, or one of the many examples that's happened is, for example, on Instagram, that social media platform, I was creating reels and I was getting like maybe 1,000 views, 2,000 views. And I thought, I actually wrote this down before I made this reel. I gave it like a very, I guess you could say like a powerful intention. And I had a very strong intent behind making this video, this reel. And I posted it, but without, I guess, holding on to any expectations. Because when you have like an expectation of something, you want something to happen, it's almost like you're coming from a place of lack. So like, just say if you're trying to grow on social media, or if you're trying to make money through a certain business deal, and in your mind, like they say, thoughts become things. You're constantly thinking, I want this to happen, I want this to happen. But that's like your intention, your thought is coming from a place of lack. It's like it hasn't happened yet. You really want it, and it's like you do anything to get this thing to happen. And that vibration, that frequency you give off when you're coming from a place of lack is the complete wrong thing to do. And it took me quite a while to realize this. Going back to the video I posted on Instagram, as I was getting like 1,000 views, maybe 1,500 views per reel, this one in particular, I wrote down the exact intention, what I wanted, and I made the reel no different. Nothing was different, nothing was better, nothing was worse. There wasn't better quality, anything like that. And as I posted this, I got like just shy of 1 million views. And this happened, and as I posted this, I gave no expectation. You can check out like this reel on my own Instagram. I can put in the description, I'll put it, it's just, my Instagram is just jake.racc, and it's one of my pinned reels. And as I made this, I had no idea that it was going to become viral. I just thought, oh, it's another reel. But as I made it, I had the intention, and I wasn't coming from any place of lack at all. I put this reel out there just to think, oh, this can genuinely help people. Let's see what happens of it. Let's just do it. This is my intention. This is what I want to happen. And then I thought, no, this is not actually what I want to happen. I thought this is what's already happened. So I put myself like in a future position, and I looked back upon my life, or I looked back upon, just say, the last week, and in that last week, in my mind, I already had a viral reel that blew up and did really well. But it hadn't happened yet in reality. But I almost had to like trick my subconscious mind. I had to like, I guess, you fake it before you make it. So I did this, and lo and behold, like I said, this reel hit just shy of 1 million views, and I gained like, I think 5,000 or 6,000 followers just from a single reel. And after that, it really got me thinking. It's like, okay, all the times I've tried to do this in the past, it never worked. But why? Like, what have I done differently this time? And the only thing I can really rule it down to was the vibration I was in when I posted this, and also the intention I gave it. So it wasn't like coming from the place of lack. So I thought of it like this too. Imagine like every event in your life or everything is a pendulum. And imagine this pendulum, it's here. And every time you give it energy and you give it like a positive intention and thought, the pendulum swings and then it goes back. And then eventually, if you stop giving it energy and attention, the pendulum will run out of momentum and it'll just sit stagnant and nothing will come upon this. But if you can concentrate this thought in your mind for as long as possible, and you're giving this object or this event energy, whether it's good or bad, I don't think the universe is going to be able to distinguish whether you want it or whether you don't want it. It's just the fact that you're thinking about it, you're giving it energy. And if you think about it in a way, like if you play the scenario through in your head as if this event's already happened, it's almost like solidifying it in your reality, in your current timeline that you're in. So what happened with me was, as I thought about this, I kept giving it energy. And like the pendulum, like I said, imagine this event's a pendulum, and it swung and it came back, and I'd think about it again and I'd swing and it'd go back. And the more I thought about it, the reel literally just kept getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, until I think it hit around 950,000 views or something. And that was a pretty big turning point from then onwards, where I thought, hang on, like, this has actually got some merit. When people say thoughts become things, your reality is, shifted, or your timeline jumps around you depending upon the quality of your thoughts. That's when I'm like, this is true. This is not just like, that pseudoscience, quantum physics, whatever, like they want to call it, just to make people feel good and feel happy about their lives. This can actually change your life. So that was the first event that got my brain ticking, and I thought, I'm going to actually try to play with this concept again and see what else I can do. So then I tried to apply this with, I guess, you're going to call it money, but more so, like the intention wasn't to get, well, I guess it was in a way, to get money, but also to be able to help people through a coaching platform. And then what I did, I started to give free information out, and it wasn't coming from a place of lack, again, where it's like, I want to trade you free information to also get back money. I didn't think of that in my mind. It wasn't like, what am I going to get out of this? It's more of leaving someone with an impression of increase and saying to them, right, it was more like a health-based coaching, so which I still do now. I'm doing health coaching, holistic health coaching. So what happened with this next phase was, I thought I launched this coaching platform, and at the time I didn't have any clients. I thought I have all the knowledge, but I didn't know, like, how am I going to get clients? And I was going through this process of thinking, like, I want to start making money online as a coach. I have the knowledge. I've done it. I've helped myself. I've helped close friends and family, but I don't know how I can get people on board online from all around the world, and I can coach them. And I kept thinking, how's this going to work? How are people going to find me? How's this going to happen? And that's what was a massive roadblock in actually creating what I was trying to do here. Because I realized there's no point, you're never going to know how you're going to do something until you do it. It's like trying to, connect the dots. You can't connect the dots going forward in your life and seeing like how events are going to actually play out. You can only connect the dots once you look back on like past life events, and then you can see, okay, X, Y, and Z happened. Now I can understand why these chain of events happen because I'm looking back and I can connect the dots. And then I realized, stop trying to think how I'm going to do it. Just think, again, go back to that same principle I originally thought of. Put my intention out there. Don't come from a place of lack, and think as if it's already happened. I've already helped, all these people. And people are like, they're really enjoying my coaching service. I'm changing people's lives for the better, and all these, like a lot of positive stuff. And again, I come back to think of it now as I'm making this video, that was like another pendulum. So I would have my coaching here, and I was like pushing it, but I was coming from a place of lack. So this pendulum wasn't moving. It wasn't getting momentum. Until I let go of the lack, until I let go, actually decided I don't even want anything out of this from the universe. I just want to be able to share good, positive information out there. And once I did that, when I let go of the lack, when I let go of what I wanted to trade this for, I just literally just gave free abundance of information. that's when this another shift happened, and I was getting clients so busy that I was struggling to balance my full-time job with the clients I was taking on and helping them out, doing weekly check-in calls and coaching and running them through my program. And then it clicked again in my brain, like a light bulb moment literally went off, and thought, hang on, it cannot be this easy. Like, reality cannot be this easy to create around you. But it literally is. It literally is that easy. And you're going to say, like, you're going to be watching this video and you're going to be thinking, but how is it possible? Like, it doesn't make sense. You need to do a certain thing to get a certain result. But that is not up to you to know how it's going to happen. That is the power of the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. That is up to the universe to provide you with how it's going to happen. All you have to do is hold the thought in your mind of exactly what you want. And once you know clearly what you want and you put the intention out there, and you cannot put the intention out with, if I do this, I want this in return, because that's also coming from a place of lack. Then you're trading. You're no longer giving. You're no longer coming from a place of abundance, because the universe or God will only give back. From my experience, is when you come from a place of abundance. It's like when you don't need anymore. You're so happy with what you have, and you keep continuing to give. Then you'll keep continuing to get. Like the saying goes, I think it says like, generously give and graciously receive. And this is so true. And you're going to, like I said, you're going to be watching this video, and it's probably not going to make sense. You're going to be thinking, how is this possible? How is this going to work in my life? I don't know how the process is. I want to launch this business. I don't know who to contact, what to do. But all these people, when you can give the thought out to the universe, all these processes and all these things and all the right connections will come into your life exactly when they need to be there. It is not up to you to worry about how this whole process is going to happen. You just have to accept and literally have complete faith and trust in the world or the universe or God that you're going to get these things into your life. But that's when your ego comes in, your psyche. Like, your ego will fight you. It'll literally try to fight your mind and pull you back and pull you out of that vibration and thought and think like, hang on a minute, like, this has never happened before to me. Why can't I, get this result? Like, how's this result ever going to happen? And that's when it all comes crumbling down and you cannot get these results. I guess if you want to call it manifest these results or whatever word you want to put to it, to create your reality basically, you're never going to be able to do it when you're coming from a place where you're thinking, how's this ever going to work? Because if you're thinking, how's this ever going to work? Well, you're going to be right. It's never going to work because you're thinking, how? You don't have the fundamental skills to understand this yet because you've never done this process. And by going by that thought process, so imagine your results come from your results. If this whole video is about thinking your thoughts, how your thoughts create your reality. So your current results are a product of your current thoughts. So when you're trying to start a business or whatever, you're trying to make content, start coaching, anything, I'm just going by my examples, your brain is going by past results. And you're thinking, I did this, and this is the result I got. And then that's going to make you think a certain way. And in your mind, you're thinking I don't know how this is going to work. And you're going to be thinking of your past results. And this is going to be a constant feedback loop. Your results will lead to how you think will lead to what actions you take. What actions you take will lead to the same result again. So it'll go from your results to your thoughts. Your thoughts will put you in a certain vibration. And I guess the result, if you're not getting the right results right now, that's changing the way you think. And then your thoughts are putting you in a lower vibration because you're like, damn, I haven't got the results, or I failed the test, or I lost money, or I can't grow this business. Then that vibration is going to make you take a certain action, and that action is going to give you the same results as what you've always had, because your thought process has not changed. Your thoughts are based upon your results. Now, this is where you need to break the cycle. You need to break the chain. And it was so hard for me to understand this because I always thought logically, and I thought, how is this going to happen? I'm very analytical. I need to see the process of something work before it actually comes into existence. But you have to completely let go and understand that it is not your responsibility to understand how something's going to work. You have to have faith in the universe and in God that you'll be provided with the way of how this is going to work. So we go back to that circle there, and we think, instead of letting results dictate our current thoughts, Forget everything that's happened in the past. Forget everything you know, and forget all the programming that's been put into your mind. Like your paradigm, if you want to call it that, which I guess it's a good word to use. Your paradigm is is like a set of beliefs that have been programmed into your mind. And all you're going to know is the same thing, is the same results that you've always known, and you're going to think the same way. So the way to shift this and to break your current thoughts and to break your current paradigm and reset a new paradigm in your mind is by starting at the thought process. Don't start by looking at your last results. Start by complete new thoughts. Scrap your results. Pretend that never ever happened in your life. Start with a new thought. And this thought should be exactly what you want. So you want to make, let's just use a crazy thing. Let's just use, you want to make $1 million this year. Start with that thought. I want to make $1 million. Don't worry about if you've never made $1 million in the past, or if you've only made $10,000 the last month or $1,000, whatever it is. Don't worry about what you've done in the past, because what you've done in the past is, if you think about that, that's going to be a reflection on your future, constantly going around and around and around. This is where you're going to have to fight your ego like hell and fight your psyche and go against all your beliefs and everything you've ever been told and scrap everything you know and start fresh with a new thought and think, this is what I want. And when you sit there and you think about what you want, just sit there and just literally close your eyes right now for about 10 seconds and think of exactly what you want out of life. It could be anything. It could be, like I said, you could want to make $1 million or have like a loving relationship or be successful in your career, whatever it is. Just sit there with that thought and imagine that's already happened in your life. Now, if you're sitting with that thought for about 10 seconds, you'll notice that you're thinking that's already happened, you're living this life. You'll probably start to grin, like you'll start to get like this weird smirk on your face, like it's already happened. Now, when you get to that point, when you start to think like, oh damn, this would be such a good way to live my life if this actually happened, that vibration that you've put yourself in, now think of that vibration, hold on to that feeling, that thought that you've got, that feeling, that kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it like a warm feeling in your body. That feeling is now going to translate to a new set of actions you've never taken before. It's going to open up your eyes to a whole new range of possibilities that were never there, because you were so focused in on your past results, or you were thinking of, I have access to this resource and that resource. But now in that new vibration you're in, your perception has opened up so much more, and you're going to see opportunities come from literally everywhere. Now, in that vibration that you're in, like I said, the actions you're going to take now are going to be completely different to the actions you once took. These new actions that you're taking, these new actions could be anything. They could be like working longer, putting yourself out there, meeting so many new people. Those opportunities have come through. Those actions have led to opportunities, and now that is going to lead to a completely new result. And that result is basically the reality that you live in every single day. That's how you live. So you have to understand it starts from the thinking process. Everything comes from the thought substance. I guess there's a really incredible book that I read that explained this pretty well. It's called The Science of Getting Rich, if you haven't read it. And the way it explains it is everything comes from this thinking substance, and everything is infinite. The universe is completely abundant, and you don't need to worry about how you're going to get this money or how you're going to get this, how you're going to attract that. It's not up to you to worry the how. The how is not important. All you have to do is know what you want. And when you know what you want, and when you can think of it in your mind, the life you want to live, you can imagine that the universe or the thinking substance, the infinite thinking substance that's out there, it's going to start to form and create this life around you. And then those actions you're taking with this new thought in your mind are going to lead to new results. And those results, whether they be the results you want or not, if they're not the results you want, then go back and change your thought again until you can get the results you want. If they are the results you want, then congratulations, you've shifted your paradigm and you've basically changed your reality based upon your thoughts. It's simple in a nutshell when you think of it like that, but it takes a lot of, fighting of your ego, because your ego, your psyche will try to pull you out of that, and it'll want you to know exactly how this process is going to come about. But you have to, have faith and trust in yourself that it is just going to come about. That is the way the world works. All these people who created these things, like just say an iPhone. The iPhone started in someone's mind, in Steve Jobs or whoever, like any product in the world. The possibility to make it was always there in the universe. The person just never thought of how to do it. It's like how to fly, like when the Wright brothers made the first aircraft, whenever they were the first people to ever fly. The ability to fly was always there. You know, the earth, the gravity, the wind resistance, whatever it took to get an aircraft off the ground was always there. We just didn't know how. All it took was someone in their mind to think they wanted to fly. Then that changed their vibration when they actually imagined themselves flying. They felt that feeling, then that made them take a certain action, and then that action led to a new result, and that result was them literally flying. And it is, I guess, as simple as that. I can't, I don't know, it's hard to fathom that it can be as simple as that to create the world around you based upon your thoughts. But that is just a basic insight of how your thoughts can create things around you. And everything comes from the infinite thinking substance. It's a pretty exciting topic, and it's something I'm pretty passionate about because I've done this myself on multiple occasions. I can go back and go over stories and past events where I've done this time and time again. Like things with material things as well, like I really wanted this certain type of watch, which I won't go into detail in this video. But where I was working, across the road from where I was working, this watch come up for sale at a ridiculous price that I couldn't resist. And it was like almost like magic. Like this watch came there. I literally went in and bought the watch that I really wanted. I've been wanting this watch for a long time. And it just came about because it started with the thought process. Everything starts with the thought. And once you can understand that, that is, it's pretty profound how the universe responds to your thoughts. If you're coming from the right intention and you're not coming from a place of lack. If you're coming from a place of abundance and you're coming from a place of gratitude with what you already have, you'll continue to get good things. But there is a very dark flip side to this. And the flip side is, if you're concentrating on the things you don't have, if you're concentrating on the negatives, the things you don't want to happen, well, guess what? You're going to make those things happen as sure as anything as well. Because the universe doesn't determine what you want and what you don't want. It just determines what you give your energy to and what you think about all the time. So if you think about, oh, I don't want to get stopped at a red light, I don't want a red light, I need to get to work on time, I guarantee you're going to hit pretty much every red light on the way to work. And some people will say, oh, it's just unlucky, it's just a sequence of, it's just a sequence of the lights. You just happen to get every red light. It's not because you thought about it. But then you come to think, really? Do coincidences actually exist? Or does this have some merit to it? Are you able to create your reality based upon your thoughts? If I was a gambling man, if I had to put my bets on it, I would bet on we have the ability to create our reality around us. It's pretty cool. So I'll leave you with that thought. And feel free to comment and like and subscribe on this video if you have any any questions about this, because I love talking about this topic. If you want to talk about this in the comments or through DM or whatever, let's chat about this. Thanks for watching the video, guys.